I can't put this any more simply. If you cook or bake, you need a food thermometer. Using a thermometer removes the guesswork. You'll know exactly what's going on inside your food, so you'll get better results. In the test kitchen, we've been using the Thermoworks Thermapen for years. It's accurate, it's simple to use, and tells you the temperature fast, inside of 3 seconds. It costs $99, which seems like a lot till you start depending on it like we do. We also picked up a cheaper alternative, the Thermoworks ThermaPop, which is just $29. You give up a few features, but you still get speed and accuracy. But our old winners don't get to rest on their laurels when there's new competition on the market. And many of the newcomers were a lot cheaper. So we bought 11 digital instant read thermometers, and they were priced from about $12 to $99, including our old favorites. We put them through a series of tests. We checked them for accuracy, speed, comfort, visibility, and durability. Our most important tests were all about accuracy, because if a thermometer's inaccurate, what's the point? We used them to read the temperature of an ice bath, where it should read 32 degrees Fahrenheit. We put them in a sous vide water bath set to 125 degrees, which is the temperature of a medium rare steak. And finally, we put them in boiling water, where it should read 212. We repeated each test 10 times and compared the results to a lab-calibrated reference thermometer. Now, the worst models were off by about 2 degrees, which is not enough to ruin a dish, but not exactly confidence-inspiring. Our top thermometers were within 1 degree of accuracy every time. And we preferred models that gave us whole numbers rather than decimal points, because that was just distracting. It really doesn't matter if your steak is cooked to 125 or 125.2. Speed was a very big deal for us. These thermometers took anywhere from 2 seconds to nearly 12 seconds to tell us the temperature. Now, 12 seconds does not sound like much, but when your hands are over a steaming pot of boiling food or in a hot oven, that feels like forever. The best thermometers read in just 2 to 3 seconds, letting us get in and get out. Next, we cooked a lot of food. We made caramel, roast beef, steaks, and grilled chicken. We also asked a series of different testers, including experts and newbies, lefties and righties, to rate them on comfort and usability. Here's what we learned. As you know, thermometers have 2 parts, the metal probe that sticks into the food and a handle that contains the controls. Both of these parts played into how comfortable and easy to use the thermometers were. Now, ones with very small handles with nowhere to rest our fingers, they were kind of ridiculous. We could only pinch them, which felt a little dainty. Others were kind of slippery or sloped, so we didn't always feel secure. Now, a few had decently sized handles, but their screens, their power buttons, or the control panels took up too much space. If you're covering the screen because there's nowhere else to hold it, how are you going to read the temperature? Now, the best and most comfortable models had long, broad handles and screens that were positioned up near the probe. That let us grab it in multiple ways with our full hand, which felt a lot more secure. Stumpy probes are also a problem. 2 of these were very short, just 2.8 to 3 inches, and that meant they couldn't reach into the center of a large roast or a broad steak. Probes that are at least 4 inches long were the best because they could reach anywhere and they kept our hands further away from the heat. Some probes fold in like a switchblade, and we liked those better than models that were straight with separate covers because we know we're going to lose those. There were 7 switchblade style thermometers, but they weren't all alike. 4 of them took 2 or 3 steps to turn on. Open the probe and press power, or in the worst case, press a button to release the probe, open the probe, then press power. The top 3 were much simpler. Flip open and go. Even on these, there were differences. One had a very floppy, loose probe, while another's was really stiff and hard to open. The best had just enough tension for us to use the probe at offset angles, but not so much that it was a bear to open and close it. And while most of these switchblade style probes opened to 180 degrees, one went a little further to 225, meaning that we could use it at an offset angle in both our right or left hands, and that was a nice perk that kept our hands out of the pot and further away from the heat. Now, most of the thermometers had extra features, but they didn't always mean much, like minimum and maximum temperature buttons. Because you really don't need the thermometer to tell you the temperature range over a span of a few seconds if you're actually standing there looking at it. But we did appreciate displays that had digits that rotate as you move the thermometer. And this is really great for lefties or anytime you adjust your grip, so you don't have to read the temperature backwards or upside down. Some rotated the digits 2 ways, flipping them 180 degrees. Others rotated 4 ways, so you could read the digits from all sides of the screen. The Thermapen Mk4 went a step further because you can actually choose whether the display rotates 2 or 4 ways, or you can opt to lock it in a single direction. Another feature we liked was a backlight. 6 of these 11 models had them, but the Mk4 is the only one that turned on automatically in low light. Another model from OXO didn't have a backlight, but it had a black screen with white digits, so it was really easy to read even when the light was dim. We also liked sleep mode, and that's when thermometers turn themselves off to save the battery. Well, a few of the models we tested had this ability. Only 2, including the Mark IV, had a bonus feature, which is auto wake up. They turn on again as soon as they're moved. Other models have you put everything down to close and reopen the probe to power it back up. So after more than 50 hours of testing, we had some answers. While there's a few decent basic models, only one was able to hold a candle to the Mark IV, but it had a lower price, the Javelin Duo Pro. It's $49.99, it's fast and accurate, and it has a big clear display. The backlight is motion censored rather than automatic, it has sleep mode with auto wake up, and its display rotates 180 degrees. But that said, it wasn't quite as comfortable as our old winner, and its single button operated 3 features, hold, minimum, maximum, and testers just found that a little confusing. But for $50 less than the Mark IV, it's a good deal. So we're naming the Javelin Duo Pro our favorite mid-price thermometer. Now the Thermoworks ThermaPop for $29 is our winning inexpensive model again. It's very basic, it's fast, and it's accurate. But if you want the very best, the Thermoworks Thermapen Mk4 for $99 is still the way to go. It's quick, it's precise, and it's intuitive. It has all the features that make it convenient and easy to use. And unlike any of the other models we tested, you can calibrate it rather than replace it if it becomes less accurate over time. It's also waterproof for up to 30 minutes in up to 3 feet of water, so it can survive if you accidentally drop it in the sink or sous vide, and if it spends the night outside in the rain. This might be pricey, but we think it's worth it for better cooking with no guesswork.